Ladies and gentlemen, all those listening right now at this moment,
Germs.
welcome to the germs. Welcome to the Coffee and Hardcore podcast. This is season 5, episode 4, and it's entitled this Another East Bay Night with Second Coming. I am here.
Wait,
My
wait,
name
wait.
is
Are
what?
we not going to talk about the intro?
Oh
It's
yeah, we got a new song. That's right.
We're just going to like cut in and pretend like this new intro is not a thing. What's going on?
Oh no, we gotta talk about the intro. That's right. Sorry. It's not like
Yeah.
I forgot or nothing. It's just a killer. It's a killer. Like I'm impressed
Who is it by?
by the one and only Worst Self.
That's right. We're self. Boom. Thank you, dude. It's so good. I reached out to Joel. And for those who don't know, which I'm sure everyone knows, Joel, he is the bass player singer of Worst Self. He was the singer of Brothers, and he was the
Yeah.
bass player for Comeback Kid for a while.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah.
I had no idea.
And this is our new intro. It's so good. Read them their lyrics, Mr. Mick.
I know. It's like, and so, I need to say this because when we had Battle Royale did the intro, there's cool lyrics there. And then we had Skullcrack and they did some cool lyrics, Fast and Furious. Then we had Moral Law,
You
which
didn't need the lyrics because it was
you didn't need the, that's right. You didn't need the lyrics then because it was just so brutal and it hit you in the face. Now this song, this one is brutal, hit you in the face, and there's lyrics. So you ready?
Yes, please.
Here it is. It's no cream, no sugar, pour over or batch brew, mix it with something fast and heavy. I call that coffee and hardcore. Arabica, Robusta, Excelsia, Liberica. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Okay, you can't go wrong. It's time for coffee and hardcore. I take my coffee like I take my hardcore, fast and bold, dark and strong. No cream or sugar will touch this cup. Can't think of a better duo, coffee and hardcore.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Joel.
Yes, thank you, Joel.
Boom.
No,
so
that was
good.
Yeah, really, 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 really good. I was so stoked when you sent it to me because you do this sometimes, like you'll send me stuff like and it's kind of like a surprise, which makes it extra awesome. But I didn't know that it was going to be those guys, and then it just made it so much more awesome when I heard it. So I was stoked.
Yeah. Well, we had talked about bands that we wanted to do the intro.
Yeah,
In the future, Worst Self was on the list, and I remember you saying this was like last season, and I remember you saying we actually got them to do it. It'd probably be the heaviest intro that we will ever have. So,
and I also like because it, being a bass player, the intro is totally, it's so awesome.
And Joel's a phenomenal bass player too.
Oh yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah, you can totally go like is it Instagram or whatever where you can go in and watch him. He like totally cover songs, totally playing the bass. He's so good. So yeah, rock on.
Yeah. So how was your guys' talk with Don?
It was good. It was good. It was kind of like, it's one of those, it's going to be an episode that's with a lot of reminiscing about the East Bay area of California, which is good because you're going to hear stories. You're going to hear stuff about like crazy bands that these guys, Jacob and Don, played with, saw as youngsters, and it's a good trip down memory lane, and also talking about some rad hardcore from that time frame. So it's a good episode.
That's really cool. Jacob, thank you so much for stepping up and getting Don on the podcast, and thank you for stepping up and hosting your first episode.
Dude, it was so nice to catch up with Don. Like he and I have like hit back and forth on Facebook and stuff, but it's been 30 years.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It was crazy. Like it was the first time they had seen each other, like face to through the intranet.
I mean, we've
their
seen
faces.
pictures of each other, but
right,
the first interaction, and it was nice.
Let's get into it. Thank you, guys. Boom.
Hey everyone, it's Sarah Koretsky-Rossington, licensed therapist, introducing my new podcast, The Hardcore Therapist, where hardcore music meets real, raw stories about mental health and resilience. We dive into the hardcore scene and explore the unfiltered experiences of individuals with the power of music and therapy. From punk to metalcore, each episode is a fusion of hardcore music and a personal narrative that challenges the stigma around mental health. Tune in for interviews with musicians, therapists, and everyday heroes who've harnessed the energy of hardcore music and mental health therapy. Subscribe now to the Hardcore Therapist podcast on your favorite platform. Get ready for an hour of powerful stories about hardcore and therapeutic approaches. The Hardcore Therapist podcast. Subscribe now. Stay strong, stay resilient, and take care of your mental health.
So welcome to the podcast. We're really excited about this one. Wiley and I have been talking about this episode for a while now. We've been pretty stoked about having our next guest on. Tonight we have a guest interviewer as well, kind of like last time we had Brian Gray on. This week we got Jacob from Oak and Crow to help us out because he has a connection with our guest. And the reason why Wiley and I were so excited about this is because we have the one and only Don from the band Second Coming, which I'm pretty sure everybody that's a part of the podcast really dig the full length and the 7-inch, which we'll get into that a little bit later because I'm supposed to tell you things that Wiley says about that. Oh, and there's a demo? What? Okay. So yeah, welcome, Don. Great to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Wow, that's quite an intro. I had no idea. That's awesome.
We try really hard, especially with groups that we like. We're like, yeah, we're gonna push it really big. So like just in the last year, I think, is when you guys dropped that full length again. Tell us a little bit about Second Coming and eventually getting to this point where you get to do the reissue.
Boy, that's okay,
is that a whole lot of information, right?
Yeah, I got to cover 30 years. And, so, Second Coming, I mean, originally I'm from the Bay Area, Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area. And Second Coming started, I want to say maybe 91, but it wasn't with me. I didn't come until later. Joey Vela, Jeff Hill started it. And let's see, the Macchiano brothers were bass and drums. Like they recorded a demo. There wasn't after the 80s, like the hardcore scene in the Bay Area, the 80s was pretty was pretty big. You know, you had like Youth of Today and all those New York bands that come through all the time. You have all the bands from Orange County coming up, and then you know, we had some too in the Bay Area, Unit Pride, so forth. And I remember Operation Ivy used to play like every weekend, so every weekend there's something going on. Then kind of the 90s rolled around, people just kind of moved away, went to college or whatnot, and the scene sort of died down. But then Joey and Jeff said, hey, let's do this band and keep it going. And I think after I graduated college in 93 and I came home, and I think their bass player left or was leaving. So I started Second Coming playing bass. Let me think. I think we did a couple of 7-inches, and let's see. Then I left to do some other bands, and but then Jeff left, and Joey asked me to play guitar, and I was like, I don't know, you know, like it's pretty, you know, I mean, Jeff Hill, it's Jeff Hill, if anyone knows Jeff, right? Tyrannicide and
Tyrannicide.
yeah. And
I was on a compilation with Tyrannicide. I forgot what it was called, but I don't know if you remember Craig Billmeyer, but we started a band. He eventually morphed it into Your Mother, and then he started playing with What Happens Next and stuff like
Craig,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, Craigums.
Yeah.
So we were on a compilation with Tyrannicide, and I think it was the first comp I was ever on.
Right. That's killer. That's so I haven't been playing guitar for that long. I kind of got bored with bass, so I picked up the guitar, and Joey asked me to play guitar, and I was really intimidated because I didn't think I could do it. But I practiced, and our first show, Chris from Powerhouse comes up to me. I just met Chris, and he's like, "Yo, you the guitar player?" And it's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yo, you got some big shoes to fill." I was like, "Oh man," but yeah, but I stuck with it. And then fast forward the '90s, we're just rolling through the '90s, playing shows, and I think '98 or '99, I think, is when that 12-inch first came out. And what else? I mean, we never toured. I mean, maybe up and down the West Coast, a couple long weekend trips. But so I'm surprised that people outside of California, has heard this record.
Really, are you though?
Am I surprised?
I mean, it's hardcore. Are you really surprised?
Sure. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I just didn't. I mean, I just didn't know. I guess. The power of the internet and just makes the scene, people around the world, just makes it a little bit smaller, then let's see, I guess Matt contacted from the record label One Scene Records. So when he said he wanted to reissue it, I thought, I mean, I was all for it. I thought, okay, this will be fun, but I just thought, really, I mean, do people care anymore? But I mean, I didn't know. So we played that show to celebrate the re-release in it last summer. And I was happy to see the guys and everything. And Jeff, Jeff came back, and actually when Jeff played our, last show in like 2001, before the band broke up, he played a couple with us then. And then Jeff is playing with the band now, and it was great to see the guys. And I just thought, would people, will we still be relevant? Would we be any good? Because we're all, in our mid 50s pretty much. And not a lot of jumping anymore. Except for Joey. Joey's a good jumper. He's in great shape, but the show was so much fun, and the reception was so great, and just lots of pictures, killer pictures, and met some people who just met new people, and so now we're just kind of, I mean, I guess we're not officially, but a band or whatever, but if we get invited to play shows and we could all make it, then we'll do it. Because like John, our drummer, lives in Washington. I'm in Oregon. Everyone else is in California. So we played another one last December in Sacramento. And we're gonna try to do what we can do this summer. Jeff and I are talking. We're talking about writing songs and stuff. So we'll see what happens. Keep rolling with it.
That's crazy. I see, because I remember, it had to have been maybe '99, and it was just getting a cassette tape. Like somebody had copied a cassette tape of that album, and I don't even remember. I remember maybe getting it from somebody in Athens, Ohio. They just kind of passed it along, like, you need to check these guys out. And
Wow.
and then all these years later, Wiley sent me some stuff, and he was like, "Hey, this LP's coming out. check it out. I think they're going to send us some shirts. I was like, okay. And he's like, do you remember them? I'm like, I don't know. And then when I went and went online and started listening to the songs, I'm like, I remember this. I had this on a cassette tape. So I was stoked, man. I remember really digging it back then, and then, you know, rediscovering it again. It was pretty exciting. So I was like, yeah, this is awesome. So my question, the next question that I have is the question that Wiley wants me to ask is, what about the final four, that 7-inch? Are we going to get a reissue of that?
I don't know. Let's see. Well, we never released that. I think we just want. And the final four was with even a different lineup, because by then Tim and John, a bass and drummer, left. So we had Carl and Tony, and so we just, and I'm not quite sure why we recorded those songs, because 2 of them were already recorded, or 3 of them were already recorded, but there was like 1 new song. So I mean, I guess just to have, and then the band fizzled out after that. But we are talking about you know, we are talking about recording again. So I think we're going to re-record Fade off of those 4.
Yeah, that was Wiley's big question, because he loves that 4 songs. So
yeah, actually, I think we recorded that at the same studio, but that 4 song came out so much better sounding. And it was the same guy that did it, but like the 12-inch, like, we don't know anything, you know, about recording. We just assume, oh, the engineers got it handled, you know, they know what they're doing. but and everything sounds great in the studio, but then when you pop the tape in the car, you know, it just like it was just different. And I think, you know, we didn't have a lot of money, so we couldn't spend a lot of time to fix things. So the remaster, the new one, I mean, sounds way better. But I remember the 4 songs like that, you know, that sounded way better than 12-inch. And other bands that have recorded after us, I think Doomsday Device, and then I think Low Life even recorded at the same place, and like theirs sounded, you know, really good. And I was kind of like, oh, you know, I was getting better, but live and learn. I mean, I'm glad it's still out there and people enjoy it.
So I got a question for you, and this isn't my question, but this is from Andrew Foote.
No, Andrew Foote, blast from the past. Yeah.
So he said,
Andrew.
You know, being on a podcast that is, you know, fronted by some people of religion and beliefs in Krishna and the band, were you ever known as a Krishna conscious band, or was it just some members?
No, it was.
And that wasn't his question specifically. I'm sort of jumbling it up because.
Yeah, sure. No, that's not that was never our mission. I mean, Joey's, you know, he writes the lyrics, and you know, they well, I guess long story short, no. I mean, I think I was the only one that I joined the temple in 98, I want to say, and have been kind of, you know, hanging out since the early 90s. But now, I mean, John is our drummer now. He's like, you know, into it, but that's not like the focus of the band.
So I think one of the reasons he asked is because when he brought your name up when we were first talking about Second Coming, like, I didn't put it quite together with your name, because I had been thinking of you with your Krishna name.
Oh,
and I referred to you as that, and he's like, I don't know who. I was like, okay, we need to figure this out. And he's like, oh, I had no idea.
Oh, he didn't. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. But then he told me some stories about bands that he was touring with and touring with you or some friends of yours in other bands.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. I'd like to hear those. Yeah.
So another question I have is, how long has it been since you lived in Dublin? Because I lived in Dublin for a little while, and I visited once probably 30 years after I lived there, and it looked like a different landscape altogether.
Where'd you
and
live in Dublin?
Dublin, California, not Dublin, Ireland.
Yeah, Dublin, California.
I don't remember the street because I was very, very young, but it was near the middle school that I went to.
Frederickson or Wells?
I think Frederickson. I'm not positive.
Okay. Well, let's see. I lived there from 74 to like 91, and I went away to college. And when I graduated, I came back and lived with my parents for a while before I moved to Berkeley. So that was
I
probably
think I
like
was there in about 78,
Oh.
79. Yeah.
Oh, really? God. Um, yeah. So I haven't, my. Now let me think about it for a minute. My parents, they bought their house. It was like $30,000 in 74, and then I always look it up on Zillow whenever I pass through.
I do
If
that
I'm in-
too with
Yeah.
Pleasanton and San Ramon. Yeah.
Yeah, I go look. I look it up on Zillow, and now that house is like $1.3 million.
Good Lord. Yeah, I see. Like, I look at, I visited Pleasanton. I don't remember, was it Pleasanton or Dublin, but over where the movie theater is and the BART over
Yeah.
by where the prison is or the jail is.
Yeah.
Like, that whole place it's a different landscape altogether. I don't recognize it.
Yeah.
And
It's like, yeah.
And there's a 7-Eleven in Pleasanton that when I was probably 11, I'd walk to, and it was cow pastures across the street,
Mhm.
and it became business parks. Like,
Yeah.
It was so crazy.
Yeah. Like Dublin's expanded down, what is that, 580, like down towards Livermore. Like it
Yeah.
almost just butts up against Livermore. And oddly enough, in 99, 2000, like I taught at Dublin High, and I graduated from there, so to go back, then I used to go skate at the skate park in Dublin, which is kind of over by the prison. So now they have houses that kind of like across the streets the prison,
Oh my God.
so like that everything's just built up. And yeah, I mean, I still, Dublin's still home to me. I mean, I can never afford to
Right.
live. That's why I had to leave. But yeah, it's crazy now.
So I also have to ask you, are you in contact with any of the Unit Pride guys?
Let me think about that for a minute. I mean, it's been a while, actually. I mean, Pete, the drummer, lives in Sacramento, and I thought he was supposed to come to the show that we played in Sacramento, but he didn't make it. Eric,
Redemption 87, Nerve Agents.
Yeah. Eric Ozine I don't know if he still lives here, but he was in Portland, and we hung out like 20 years ago when both of our kids were small. My oldest son is 22. He had a daughter, Grace, I think. And we like met up at a park a couple times.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't seen Eric in like 20 years. And I believe Tim is in Chicago. We just say happy birthday on Facebook, every couple of years.
Dude, if next time we talk to Tim, I'm glad you brought up his name. So I lived a couple blocks from him in Pleasanton. And
Oh, yeah.
I was 16. I bought a half stack for $400. I gave him $100 down payment. I still owe him $300, and nobody will hook me up with him, and I need to fill this karmic debt. It's killing me. Like, it was like 1988, and I still want to give him that 300. I'll give him interest. I don't care. I just need to pay this guy.
Like, I want my $2.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, it hurts me so much because, getting that amp from him helped me get into some of the bands that I got into later, and actually doing albums and touring. And I feel bad that I scumbagged out on that, and I just never paid him the money. And I don't know if it was intentional or not, because
yeah,
I'm in my 50s and I don't remember what was going through my mind then. Even though then, I was a sober kid. It's not like I was drunk or on drugs and like ripped
Yeah.
this guy off. I don't. So anyway, if it ever comes up, and I tell this to Chad Welch too. I'm like,
Oh
dude,
yeah.
yeah. I'm like, dude, if you ever come across him, please just let me pay the dude.
But that amp, Tim bought that amp off of Trent Nelson from like Rabbit Lassie.
Oh, you're gonna make me feel worse about it.
Well, so that's like a legacy piece of
Ah.
So Rabbit Lassie was the band before, well, turned into Breakaway, then
Yeah,
coming, yeah.
yeah, I know. Made me feel worse. Also, speaking of Chad, hello, Chad.
Yeah, Chad.
He's the one that first he was working at Lucky's behind my house.
Lucky.
And I went in there and I was buying some cereal or whatever, and I was wearing a Youth of Today shirt. It was 1987, 1988. And he's like, yo, no, I was wearing Underdog. It was an Underdog shirt. And he's like, yo, nice shirt. And we just started talking. And he's the one that first took me to Gilman Street.
Oh,
Yeah. And, man, I love that dude. And, I finally reconnected with him like a couple years ago. And yeah, it's so nice to hear that dude's voice.
yeah, I love Chad. Was always a nice guy, really supportive. Do you remember who you saw at Gilman? Your first show there?
I think it was Bold or Underdog.
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
And yeah, it was two different shows, Bold or Underdog. And I remember thinking like, I'm from New York and I came out here and I'm 16 and it's 1988 and I'm seeing these bands for the first time at Gilman Street instead of in New York where these bands are from and where I'm from. But I also saw NoFX's when El Jefe played his first show with NoFX. It was at Gilman Street with like No Use for a Name and some Ill Repute, some other bands. And like, I'm gonna say almost all the best punk shows I ever saw when I was younger. It was at Gilman Street, even though like I've seen some great shows at CBGB's, but the best ones were at Gilman.
Yeah.
So where Gilman Street? Was that like a club close to where you guys were at, or?
It was a warehouse. On,
Nice.
Yeah, it was a spray painted warehouse. And it was, I don't remember the history of how it was set up. Do you remember that, Don?
Yeah, I think it opened in 87 and they picked that location because it was an industrial area. But now when you go there, it's all gentrified. There's breweries and stuff, but Gilman still exists there. It's this place just covered in stickers and stuff. And so it was a membership club. And in the beginning, they would not announce who was playing. Like you had to go and find out. So we would go Friday night, we'd go Saturday night, and then when you go, they would tell you like who was playing the next day or the next weekend. And so I remember I'd go, I was like, oh, 7 Seconds is next weekend. All right, we're coming back. But we almost went like every day or every weekend, no matter who's playing, because there's nothing to do in the Valley, right? So we'd go to Berkeley, shop for records, and then go to a show. So yeah, I mean, every band came through there. I think most of the shows that I've gone to was probably at Gilman Street. And actually, I mean, I was at that Underdog show and those Bold shows. And, it's like we're both in the same room. We didn't know until we were
so
working at the mall together.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, like at that Underdog show, like they were my favorite hardcore band at that point. And I would always, so at Gilman, like if you wanted to get in for free, you had to either work the door, you had to sweep up, you had to do some kind of labor. And I would always do it. And then I get right to the front of the stage for bands, that shitty carpeted 2 foot tall stage. So, I would sit right under the microphone and, I saw Rancid there a million times, and Tim
Mhm.
drooled on me.
Yeah, I
No
know.
offense, he was like a slobbering dog, and
Yeah.
no offense, they're still my favorite band to this day.
Mhm.
But seeing Underdog there, I was on the stage and I'm singing, and at one point Richie's like laying on his back doing one of his like takes a word and stretches out to 6 syllables, and then reaches up and punches while I'm singing and fucking clocked me in the face.
Oh, right.
But you
Yeah.
know what? Oh, and the funny thing is, speaking of Underdog, Peter from Into Another, post Underdog,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
he lives just a few miles from me.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
that's crazy.
Yeah, he's like low key, and he plays in like a bar band. And he came in, and I looked at the ticket. I was working
Mm.
at Angel Heart's Vegan Diner, and I
Mhm.
see a ticket, and I was like, Peter Moses, are you fucking serious? And I look over, and they're like, yeah, his son used to work here. And it's like, oh my God. And he comes in, and I hand him his bag. It was like, Peter Moses, like Into Another. And he looks at me like, how the fuck do you know who I am?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm not trying to fanboy out, but I'm a huge fan. And I never saw
Yeah.
him again. He never came back in. He always sent somebody else to pick up his food.
It's like
You scared him,
thickest,
dude.
Yeah.
the thickest
But I
guitar
mean,
player.
I try not to fanboy out, but man.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
into another Peter Mo. I mean, you can't help it. I just,
No, his playing is incredible.
yeah. Yep. And those guys are so locked in. Like when when they played the John Bunch show, that memorial show, it's like they were just flawless. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I was up front just watching Peter Moses. So how does he do that? It's like hasn't skipped a beat.
I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those kids that when Into Another played Gilman, I didn't
Mm.
go because I was like, this is an Underdog. Just like when Shelter went, I was like, this isn't Youth of Today.
Yeah.
And I regret it. No, I can admit I was that kid, and
Yeah.
I regret it, but I admit I was that guy,
Mhm.
and I don't like the Misfits.
Jeez.
Yeah, actually, I mean, Gorilla Biscuits, they do a lot of reunions, but I haven't seen any of them.
I saw them at
last time I-
Gilman, and it was awesome.
yeah, last time I saw them was at Gilman, like 80 when they came out in '89.
So you and I had been to a bunch of shows together at Gilman, and we just
Yeah.
didn't know each other.
Didn't know. Yeah.
Were you at the Blatz Filth show where everybody got, or it was, I don't know if they played together, but it was the Blatz show where everybody got covered in pastries and they were naked pulling clothes off people?
No, I think I missed that one.
I mean, nothing. I wasn't there either or anything.
I mean, I've seen some wild shows there because, like I said, like we would just go because just to go.
Every
No.
Friday, Saturday. Yep.
Right. Yeah. And let's see, like Fugazi. I mean, first time Fugazi came out, I don't even think they had anything out yet.
Oh,
We
shit.
just heard, we got a live tape or something from a show they played in Seattle. So we heard that, and we're trying to learn a couple of songs. I mean, I remember song number 1 was the first song. And then then they played at Gilman. I don't think they didn't have anything released yet.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was wild. Yeah, that was Operation Ivy was like the house band. They played all the time. Like
I
almost
missed them. I moved there about 3 months after they broke up, but I got to see Rancid a bunch in the
Mhm.
beginning. And yeah, that was, I've probably seen Rancid more than any other band. I still have a couple of like Tim would be out front handing out
Yeah.
shirts and stuff, and I never got any of those. I got a couple of stickers, and I went up to him once and I was like, yo, let me get a 7-inch. He's like, we don't have any. And then I ran into him at a Debbie Harry Ramones Tom Tom Club show at the Greek Theater. And he remembered me, and he
Oh.
reached up in the back of his leather jacket and handed me their first 7-inch. And I was
Yeah.
like, and even though I probably should have framed it, it's still the most played 7-inch that I have. Like,
Yeah.
Y'all, you still have it?
Oh yeah, I listen to it all the time.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Nice. Wow. What label was that on? Do you remember?
It was
Put out.
Lookout.
Oh, Lookout. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. And the thing is, he was such a nice dude. Like, the Blamed, my the band that I was in at the time played there, and actually, the guy that I was in the Blamed with, who started it, was on the podcast recently, filling in for me, pretending to be me, but doesn't like coffee. Anyway, Brian, I see you, Brian. But yeah, we played a show at Gilman, and we played a full-on Christian punk rock set. And then Tim came up to me, and he's doing the thing, like, I don't ever talk to him, but he was kind of like prison, like he'd always just look over your shoulder while he's talking instead of looking in your face. And they're like, yo, man, I respect what you guys do. I like this. Yo, if you guys want to play some shows with us in Oakland,
Wow.
and he gave me his number. And I still remember it, and I won't repeat it because I don't want people calling whoever lives there. But for some reason, that phone number stuck in my head. But
Yeah.
we kind of broke up shortly after. It's probably my fault. I'm loose cannon like that, which sucks because, yeah, that would have been so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting some momentum. We got to break up now.
Yeah. Oh, and it's all on me. Whatever.
It sounded
Anyway.
whatever. I thought you guys already talked that out. You and Brian. We had an episode where we talked about all that.
Oh, this was before we did the album. This was early,
before 21.
Oh, this was early Blamed.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Early members, like pre all that, pre Jim Chaffin. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. This is when Brian Ryan, sorry, edit that out. Brian Gray and I were living together and, cuddling on a couch and stuff. So
Yeah.
no, actually it was before that even. So whatever. Anyway.
Whatever. So since you guys are kind of like from the same area and everything, would you say that that area, I mean, are you looking at that as like when you guys were playing shows and stuff, was that like the third wave of hardcore out in that area, a second wave? I mean, you guys are all talking about, watching Youth of Today and then later on, Rancid and Shelter and, so like, were you guys playing in bands like before or after that, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've been, I think my first band was when I was 14. And then in high school, I was in a punk band in high school. Then and Gilman was starting to, you could record a demo at Gilman for $25.
Oh,
and
That's
it was
awesome.
I forgot the sound guy's name. I want to say maybe it was Radley. Yeah, but he used to run the soundboard then. He used to be in that little balcony, on the top there.
Above the bathrooms.
Yeah, and it's $25. Everything's live, no overdubs. You just play and you can't mess up. And what was my point? Oh, bands before. Okay, yeah. Then I got into this band called Rabid Lassie, who's kind of big in the San Ramon Valley. I mean,
I didn't realize you were in Rabid Lassie.
It was at the very tail end. I played I don't remember how many shows, but I mean, it wasn't that many. But then we kind of changed the name to Breakaway. But my first show with Rabid Lassie was with Verbal Assault at Gilman in like December '87, and I think instead played a couple of the Orange County No for an Answer. I think a couple of those bands might have been on that show too. And then we changed name to Breakaway because we wanted to be a little more serious.
I remember that. I didn't know you were in Breakaway either. God damn it.
Yeah. I wish I kept my 7 inches because I see like they're like, I could have retired.
Chad has all of them.
I bet, yeah.
Dude, when I first met him, I went over to his house and he was showing me all of his like old like first pressings of everything, Uniform
Mhm.
Choice, Rabid
Yeah.
Lassie, break all like everything. And
Yeah.
like he even pulled out a first issue of Superman comic book.
Oh,
Like he was I don't know if he still is,
yeah.
because he's super chef guy, so I'm sure he has all of his old stuff in a vault, but
Yeah.
he's still super hardcore guy. And that's how I learned about all of you guys and
Yeah.
all the East Bay stuff.
Wow. That's uh, like I used to have Star Wars 1, 2, and 3. It came in a 3-pack. My dad just bought it for me when I was like 7 or 8 years old at the store. You remember a store called the Treasury? It was like an offshoot. It was like a J.C. Penney's company or whatever. But there was but yeah, he just bought me this 3-pack. It was in a plastic bag on this comic book rack, and I wrecked it. I didn't take care of it because I didn't know these things would be worth anything.
Right, it was a comic book. You read it,
Yeah.
just like I bought
Yeah,
7 inches and I listened to him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Like all the
I'm sorry, Wiley.
I remember Eric Ozine, like in '87, Revelation was still in New York, and I guess Eric went to New York, met Jordan or whatever, and got a whole bunch of 7 inches and brought them back, and he was like kind of selling them in the Bay, at Gilman and stuff. And so I got everything first pressing from him, like the first Sick of It All 7-inch, side by side. We just bought all this stuff. And then, in my 20s, I was like, oh, it's time to grow up. And so I got rid of all this stuff. And I was like, damn, I save all these.
No, I feel you. So I had all my good stuff in a crate or crates, and I went travel after I broke up with a longtime girlfriend, and I left my stuff in my mom's house, and she hit me up and she's like, "Oh, so I won't put her name in, but your ex-girlfriend, she asked if she could come over and borrow some albums because, they were still friends."
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of old first pressings, Adolescence and Battalion of Saints, and Exploited and stuff like all the Exploited 7 inches that I fought hard to find, like in the 80s. They're gone. Just gone. But you know what? It's just stuff. You just have to. It's just stuff. Wiley again. I'm sorry. It's just stuff.
That's what I keep telling myself.
I know.
Right. And that's Sam Kinison. He's like, I want my records back.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's I mean, you guys did an interview with Porcel, like Parmananda.
Yeah.
Right. And
I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah.
He was telling this story once that like when he joined the temple, he was like, okay, I got to get rid of everything. He got rid of all his records, and people were like, are you insane? Because he had everything. And then I think after the fact, he started to regret it, because I was like, yeah, I probably could have retired by now if I saved everything. But oh well, yeah, it's just stuff. It was cool stuff, but it's just stuff.
And in that same house, while I was out traveling, it was when I was in a grimier part of life, squatting and train hopping. I called my mom. She's like, yeah, we had to move some stuff, and we put your guitar equipment on the curb.
Oof.
And
no.
It was a Marshall 1960B, like bottom cabinet.
Yeah.
A nice with selections, and it was a full tube rack setup with Rocktron ProGap preamp and it was hooked. It was the stuff that I played in with Mortal. It was my Mortal rig. And yeah, and the thing is, I got mad for a minute. And I was like, you know what though? I'm in my 20s. Why am I leaving stuff in my mom's house?
Yeah.
So I let it go. I was like, I'll figure it out later. And I burdened her with this. So I'm hoping that somebody who used it to do something awesome.
Yeah.
Got it. And was stoked, because I've been fortunate enough to like find things along the way, and I hope somebody else found it and was like, I can't believe this.
Yeah. Yeah. What'd you do with that PV rig you got from Tim?
I don't remember. I don't remember. The thing is, like, I was such a hard person to be in a band with because I was always just disappearing. So you know that Green Day song "Disappearing Boy"?
Yeah.
So there was a house that I lived in Pleasanton on the corner of whatever the street the mall is on, and I don't remember, but it was on the other side of the overpass.
Yeah.
And my mom let a bunch of people build a nice like 8-foot half pipe in the backyard just
Hmm.
because. And they had to sign waivers to skate
Yeah.
it. And I'd come home and people would be skating and this and that, but we'd always just leave town. So there's this woman Karen that hung out, and I got nicknamed Disappearing Boy because all my life, like up until shit college, even after that, I just disappeared, left town with no. It's why I have a gang slang tattoo on my lower back. I have a tramp stamp that just says nomad. Because the thing is, like, until I was 30, I never lived anywhere more than 2 years.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I got that nickname, and, yeah.
Did not know that. I didn't know you had the nomad tattoo.
Yeah, and I'm okay with the tramp stamp, whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Whatever.
fine, whatever.
Yeah, some barbed wire around it.
Oh, come on. I didn't get broy about it, but yeah. No, but it was nice though. I'd come home on my lunch break it was when I worked at Lucky's.
Uh-huh.
I'd come home and there'd be a 21 window microbus parked in front of my house, and I hear shoom, shoom, shoom,
Yeah, I
and
know.
I just see dudes that I didn't know getting air in my backyard, and it was really nice. And then it wasn't until like one day I came home my lunch break and I broke my leg, and my mom's like, "All right, shutting this down. My son ruined it for all of you."
Oh,
Oh man,
Yeah, yeah.
jeez. So Don, what do you have? What do you have going on now? Like any plans for? I know you said something about you guys thinking about re-recording some stuff or recording some new stuff. Like what else is going on? You got anything new coming up?
for Second Coming or
Yeah,
for
I mean, Second Coming or for any other projects maybe you're working
Oh,
on.
his other band.
uh yeah, well, I'm in this other band called Knelt Before from the mean streets of Gaston, Oregon. And
Brutal.
but it's Mark well, I mean, right now I guess we're kind of a three-piece. We're just kind of searching for other members, but yeah, I mean that Mark we put out an album maybe geez, maybe it's 2 years ago already, a year and a half, and working on another one. Mark's a principal songwriter, so he's got everything written already, and I just got to get over there, do my parts and stuff. But he so there's that, and I don't have anything else going on. I mean, I just kind of I mean, I've got kids, and
Oh, I know about that. Yes.
yeah, got to work, and and I kind of put music. I wasn't really doing any music. I think after Second Coming, 2001 was our last show. That's when I moved to Portland, and I tried like answering ads and stuff, and meeting people, and trying other bands, but nothing just felt right. Second Coming. That was like, that was really the only band. I feel like that's the only band I ever want to do. So over the years I'd collect gear, and then I'd get a divorce and sell everything, and then I'd buy, get more gear, then divorce number two, I get rid of everything. But then I had some guy was selling this Marshall head, and he was like, yeah, we have a baby coming. I don't have time for this anymore. So it was just like a fire sale. He was selling it for like something ridiculous, like $400. So I was like, okay, I got nothing going on, but I can't pass this up. So I was collecting stuff, And I was just hoping, okay, someday the Second Coming ever gets back together, I'm going to be ready, and I'm going to have all this gear. And I vowed, it's like, no matter how tough things get, I'm never selling anything again, because I had nice stuff before, and then, hard times, whatever, or whenever, bad things happen, then I was like, I had this habit of just getting rid of everything. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to live like a monk. I don't need all this stuff. But then I regret it afterwards. Like I didn't learn from my records. I didn't learn when I sold all my guitars and all my amps and stuff. So, slowly I'm building the collection back, and now, thankfully, Second Coming, we're playing again. So
when did you move up to Portland?
2001.
So I could have run across you then, because I lived in Portland in 2000.
When?
2005, 6, and I lived on 6
Where?
in Holman with people. Like, I lived in crusty houses with people from like Hell Shock and from Masters Rise, and then we lived in some crusty houses with a bunch of bands. Not necessarily the scene, but
right.
I'm sure you ran across some of the people, and we were probably in the same room again at some time.
Yeah, probably.
That's so crazy.
Because I went to a few shows by myself because I didn't really have any friends up here. So yeah, there's a few shows I went to by myself, and we're probably in the same room again.
God, that's so crazy. Yeah, we finally left around 2006, 2007, and but yeah, for a while, 6 in Holman, and then Skidmore over by Mississippi. Before it got super gentrified, but while it was happening, and we were volunteering over the Black Rose, that anarchist collective.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, we were volunteering down there, and there's that Mississippi pizza place, and I miss Portland. I do. I really do.
Man, small world.
Right?
Yeah. Is that where you met Andrew when you were here?
No, met Andrew here. So I started the coffee company here, and he was doing mail order. He was living in Binghamton, New York. And then at one point he's like, "Hey, just so you know," because he's so polite. And he's like, "Just so you know, I stopped ordering because I moved right near you, so I'll be picking it up locally." And then I met him. He adopted one of the kittens we were fostering, and he's just an awesome dude. And actually, we recently went to go see Agnostic Front Murphy's Law together. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I met him. I mean, I was like, I'm one of those guys like, okay, I'll play guitar, I'll play bass. I had a drum set. So if anyone needed anybody, like,
you're that guy. You're like, come over, I have the playground.
Yeah. So I think I placed an ad in the paper, and Andrew answered, and him and his bass player buddy, I forgot his name, but they came over to my house and we jammed in the basement, and it was super fun. Really nice guy. I think we jammed a couple times, but I don't know what happened. I think, just, I don't know. I think just family life and stuff,
I'm trying to get him to do something locally, it's like, whatever you need. He's like, okay, I need a bass, and I'm left-handed. And I was like, you're making this very difficult.
Yeah.
And he told me, he's like, I'll play guitar. He's like, but you're not going to like working with me because I'm kind of an asshole. And I was like, all right, I'll find you a bass. I'll find you an amp. It's fine. Let's go. And I can't imagine him being an asshole, but some people, they have that just secret, like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got the rage somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh man. Are you a coffee drinker? This is coffee and hardcore. We gotta talk about coffee a little bit. Jacob has Oak and Crow. Are you a coffee drinker?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not like a connoisseur or anything. I just, I think, I mean, I wasn't a coffee drinker for a long time. Because like, I mean, I'm not a very good example of like, Hare Krishna devotee. We're not supposed to drink coffee or take caffeine, but I do. And I started drinking coffee again, maybe a couple years ago, because honestly, it like just helped me go to the bathroom. And but I've always loved coffee. My mom used to have those, have like those coffee candies, those hard candies. And so, when I was like 10 or 11, I wanted to start drinking coffee because my parents, I mean, they drank like instant coffee and stuff, right? So I said, but my brand, I mean, I'm pretty cheap. I don't know that much about, coffee. And I think Cafe Bustelo is what I is what I usually buy. But
We have some of that in our house too.
Okay. I'd like to intervene here.
And I was hoping the coffee. I'm a little embarrassed, but
Okay. I would like to. Do you have a grinder? I'm guessing if you drink Bustelo, you don't have a grinder.
I don't, but I can get one.
All right. I would like to. I would like to send you some coffee. Also,
right.
it's funny. So there's a certain artist that we all know, and I don't want to name, but he was one of my best-selling coffees as an artist coffee, except that he didn't advertise his coffee, but every time he showed a spot in his apartment, he was just like Cafe Bustelo, blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, you have a brand. And so his brand tanked because anyway.
Yeah.
But
we won't mention any names. We won't mention any names.
Yeah, I'll
yeah, send me a message.
I had another a friend of his that I did a coffee for, who during the pandemic quit drinking coffee and told everybody he quit drinking coffee. And I was like, you're not going to sell any coffee if you tell anybody. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, I'd like to send you some coffee. So hit me up with your address. And
yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Oh, and I'll also tell you the names of those people.
I think I have an idea, but I'm not going to say anything.
Oh, I'm sure you know. I'm sure you know.
Oh man. Well, it's been really.
Can we talk about this too?
Oh, hold on. All right, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Don, what do you know about this? So this is the first time I saw Second Coming, and I feel like this is pre-you.
Is there a date on there, or what are the songs on
there?
Jacob is actually holding up a cassette tape.
There is
those of you cannot see what he's doing.
So I just Sharpie on the cassette.
Yeah,
and
that's Joey's writing.
Hold on. Get out.
Probably got his old phone number on there for booking.
Did he live in San Ramon?
Yeah.
Yep. So, I won't give you the address, but
do you out of the you know what? I think that okay, I remember. No, I wasn't on that. That's the first iteration of Second. That's the OG Second Coming. I think that tape became the first 7-inch.
Yeah, I saw him at Gilman, and I got this, and it was like around the same. Yeah, it was. There were so many bands that I got to see that I didn't like. Noothgrush, which I got ridiculed for decades later. Noothgrush is one of my favorite bands, and I'm still friends with Chio. and
Mhm.
her husband is a coffee roaster, and I ran into him at a coffee roasting convention at one point, and
Mhm.
we're talking. He's like, "Oh yeah, my wife, plays drums for a band," and we're talking, and he said something. I was like, "Wait, Chio Nukaga?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Fuck, Nuth Crush is my." Anyway, um, yeah, the East Bay is an awesome place.
Yes. Yeah. I'm very fortunate to have grown up there, and um yeah, New York's got its thing, Detroit has its thing. Yeah, but Bay Area was very special. Not just, for punk, for hardcore, for pop punk. Yeah, there's so many, so many different bands that came out,
It's a
out of
lot.
there. Yeah, Journey, right? Night Ranger. Wait, was Night Ranger? Yeah, I think Night Ranger was in the Bay Area. Was it?
I don't know. We had the Stone, the Omni,
Yeah.
and what's the other one that he owned? Stone,
One Step
Omni,
Beyond.
and
One
One
Step
Step
Beyond.
Beyond. Yep. I got to play at a bunch of those places
Yeah.
and hang out with people from what was that crazy ska band?
Skank and Pickle.
No, oh, what the fuck they were called? I don't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
They were a ska band. It doesn't matter.
Oh, Tesla too was from the Bay Area, and the drummer had a studio in Hayward, and we recorded one of the second coming 7 inches there.
Was that like weird studio up on 880?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't. If
Oh,
felt like
Slambodians. That was a band I was thinking of.
wait, they were a ska band.
Well, they were ska punk. Like they had that singer Fred guy, and then the drummer was the original drummer of one of the local thrash bands, like
Oh, okay.
originally, whose
Yeah.
cousin played for Slayer and Exodus.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just so much history with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember they had a song called Pencil Dick.
Yes.
Right.
So the thing is, I auditioned for a guitar for the Slambodians a couple times, and they were just like, you can't quite. But they would just like, I don't know if they felt bad for me, but anytime they played a show with like GBH at the Omni or somewhere else, they'd just be like, just come to the show. I was like, okay. So, I'm not good enough playing the band, but if you're gonna take me to all these good shows like Forbidden and GBH, fine.
Yeah. I'm in.
That's hilarious. Oh man. All right. Well, it's really good to have you on, Donna. I'm glad you're able to hop on with us. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, God, thanks
And
for asking. This is fun.
And having you guys share stories. That's awesome. It's like East Bay legends on the podcast. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, East Bay.
You guys need to make shirts or something.
Yeah.
Bring it back. That's how you can make all that money back after losing all,
Yeah.
giving away all that stuff. Just
Yeah,
coffee idea, Jacob.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the East Bay blend or what.
Well, if Blatz didn't already think of it, I'd think about something like, I wish California would fall in the ocean, everyone would die. But Blatz already did that, so
That would be the name of the roast?
maybe.
Oh man. Awesome. Well, we'll look forward to anything else you got coming out, and we'll post links to all the stuff that you mentioned too. So yeah. Really awesome to have you on.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah, thanks. All right, keep in touch, you guys.
Hey, this is Mark. Don and I are in a band called Knelt Before. The song you're about to listen to is from our album, which is going to be coming out late 2024. We're in the process of recording it. This is an exclusive to Coffee and Hardcore podcast, and we hope you enjoy it.
Hi, this is Atlas. My daddy is in Knelt Before. You are listening to In Waves on the Coffee and Hardcore podcast.
Yo, this is B-Loose from New Queer Future with a special gift, a special treat to one of our favorite podcasts, Coffee and Hardcore. A world premiere. Oh my God, they're crazy. Oh my God, this song's so good. What is going on? Of a new song we just recorded called Getting At Ya. It'll be streaming everywhere March 1st, but you'll get to listen to it here and now first. Okay? Also, just throwing this out there, in case anybody wants to pick it up, we're playing a show tomorrow, February 23rd in Parkersburg, West Virginia at a place called Tracy's Pub with Nervous Aggression. So, we hope to see you there. If you can't come, all right, whatever, you can't come. But if you do come, oh my God, dude, you're gonna love it. Okay, I love you. Bye.
You want to change, you want to grow. It's another day, you're doing well. You want to change, you want to grow. It's another day, you're doing well. I know it sucks.
There it is. Episode 4 is in the books, fellas. That was a fun one.
5.
Season 5. Can you believe it?
Actually, no.
Oh,
I was-
nice.
I was thinking of Wiley when you called me. I was actually to talk about the podcast. I was actually sitting at my old house on the back deck drinking coffee with my wife, and you brought up, "Hey, I got this idea," and now here we are, 5 seasons later.
Yeah, and your wife was saying, "Yes, do it, yes."
Good.
do it,
And now
yes."
she's like, "Why are you still doing that?" No, I'm kidding. She doesn't say that at all.
Well, it's tough, like anything creative, that isn't your living, that takes time, that you basically do for, a passion project. It's hard behind the scenes. I'm sure of any band or any artist or any podcast, I'm sure there's rocky times like there have been with, of our bands, all of our podcasts. So that's the fun stuff. And we sort of have an episode coming up about that.
Yeah.
It's the Red Line episode, and about how the record almost didn't come out. We're gonna have Zach Bridier on, who basically, in my opinion, saved that record.
Yes, he did.
We're gonna have Marco on to talk about. He basically wrote everything, and so it's gonna be a fun episode. We're gonna have Jacob back on to talk about his 7 minutes in heaven coffee.
Hello.
Yeah. Right. So just like that with this podcast, there's been a few times where we've been like, should we call it quits? I don't know. Maybe we'll keep it going. Okay, we'll keep it going. Things are, life's hard.
Yeah. That
Good to be transparent.
And to be transparent, and to also say, there was a couple times that there was a guest. There was a couple probably only one guest that was so
heinous.
Yes, that it almost made us quit.
Yeah.
Quit, and you put us like it. I think it's Wiley. I think it's the only thing that you and I have ever been in odds at.
Yeah. You know what? Let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
All right. We won't say who it is, but there was a guest that it was so divisive that it made us divisive. Like it was so weird. It was like so unlike us. We were like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like there was a lot of conversations till we finally were able to work it. It wasn't so much we were mad at each other. It was just like that person was just so divisive. It was weird.
Well, it was the quarrel episode, right? Like,
yeah.
The one we had to get down because of the lawyers, and I just said, "Hey, I really want to do an episode where we talk about this, so I can." That's how I work. That's how my brain works.
Right.
Like getting it out there into the universe. Some people just bottle it up and let it sit, which is fine. But like, I just wanted to get off my shoulders. I just wanted to get it off my shoulders, get it into the universe, and I honestly feel a lot better about it. Right?
Yes.
The quarrel episode. But I remember so there's two, your way wasn't wrong and my way wasn't wrong, but you said, no, we should drop it. We should just forget about it, not give this person any more,
right.
And we shouldn't even talk about it anymore, really.
Yeah.
No, I feel like I need to get it out there. And we kind of went back and forth on it. And I basically was like, well, I don't know if I want to do a podcast. Someone who won't let me speak my voice about what I do. And you sat back for a few days and thought about it. And then you're like, yeah, okay, I understand. But you said, let's just give it some time.
I did say that. Yes.
So we compromised.
We did.
And we gave it 6 months, 5 months.
Yeah. But honestly, though, that wasn't totally our intention. Because we were going to do it. We were going to do it 3 months later, and then a bunch of other stuff happened, and it kept getting pushed back.
Yeah. Yep. We were going to do 3 months.
Yeah.
Which I'm really glad it was longer, because it made it less about the feelings and more story.
and kind of funny is not the right word. We were able to laugh about it more, if that makes sense, because in the moment, like, even though we were trying to figure out how to handle the situation, all of us were pissed. Like,
Yeah.
like we were pissed. Oh, yeah, that was, and it was weird because, you know, like I remember a lot of that you had to deal with, and you were dealing with it because you were working nights at that time too, right?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Yeah, which you still are. So like, there was moments where you had to take care of that during the day, which is when I went work. And so like, we're trying to, it was, oh man, those were a lot of, it was crazy. I'm kind of glad that's over with.
Yeah, and if you want listeners, you can go to know what we're really talking about and go listen to the choral episode of the Coffee and Heart Podcast, which was last season. I think it was one of the last ones of last season before the holiday episode.
Yeah, before the holiday episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
We talked.
We made it. We're
Probably
on the other side.
We did make it. Yeah. Thanks to Jacob. Wow, I can't speak, for financially stepping up and helping the podcast with all the different things from promotion to any artwork that we need done or anything. So we appreciate you, Jacob, and Oak and Crow Coffee.
You're very welcome. Anytime, buddy.
You're the best, for real, the best. So if we're being real, Jacob has probably saved the podcast a few times too.
That's true. Yes.
Financially.
Absolutely true.
And
caffeinatedly.
Yep. So to the listeners, you should probably thank Jacob if you like this podcast. No, don't send him any death threats.
No, you should send him money so he can buy some of that sweet Oak and Crow coffee.
Wait, send Jacob money so he can buy Oak and Crow coffee?
No, send Jacob money so they can, through buying, I don't know.
I want to buy some of the coffee. Come on now.
Just send Jacob your money and he'll send you coffee.
Send me coffee. Please send me coffee.
Well, they need to send you coffee too if they're a roaster, so you can review it in your 7 minutes of heaven.
Oh yeah.
True. Yeah, if you want your coffee reviewed, 7 minutes of heaven, send me some coffee.
By someone who actually knows what they're doing.
Well, no one's gonna send him coffee if they listen to his reviews.
Yo, I only gave a harsh
dogs
review
the shit out of them
once, and they deserved it. I'm not sorry.
2 times, my friend.
I'm gonna, you know what? We'll have to start changing the music for that segment to scary stuff. If that's what's going on.
Old suffocation or something.
Sickness.
Yeah.
Yo, let's get out of here. Let's drop that karaoke version of Down with the Sickness right now. And then
right now?
Right now. Let's do it right now. And then we'll do the skull crack outro. Get the hell up. Down with the Sickness karaoke version. You're welcome.
Do you feel that? Do you feel that? Oh, shit.
Wow! Wow!
Drowning deep in my sea of
Loaded,
broken your
Will you give it to me?
It seems what's left of my human side is slowly changing in me.
Will you give it to me?
Look at my own reflection when suddenly it changes.
Violently it changes. Oh no.
There's no turning back now. You've woken the demon in me. Get up, come on down with the sickness.
Get up, come on, get down with the sickness.
Get up and come down with the sickness.
Open up your hate and let it flow into me.
Get up and look down with the sickness.
Your mother, get up, come on, get down with the
You
sickness.
fucker, get up, down with the sickness.
Madness is the gift that has been given to me.
I can see inside you.
The sickness is rising.
Don't try to deny.
What you feel, will you give it to me? It seems that all was good has died and is decaying.
In
Will you
me.
give it to me?
It seems that it's in trouble in dealing with these changes.
Living with these changes.
Oh no, the world is a scary place now.
That you woken up the demon in me.
Get up, come on down with the sickness.
Get up, come
All
on
right.
down with the
There we have it.
sickness.
Get up and come down up with the sickness.
Yes.
Open up your head and let it flow into me.
Get up and come down.
I forgot what episode it is. It's episode 4, right?
All right, stop
Yes.
the tape. Cut
Hold
the
on.
tape.
There it was.
Tooth and Nail Records. Sorry, cut that.
Cut that. But leave it for real. Mick's laughing. That's the silence as he's covering his mouth. So I guess you have to explain why you said that, Jacob.
Well, I thought we were supposed to release that to the public.
Nope. Cut it.
Oh, that's right.
We could
Let's start over.
let's start over.
Start over. I was just trying to be difficult. I'm sorry.
Let's start over. There was a lot of weird pausing and not talking. Brain melting.
All right. You ready?
Yeah, he's gonna do it again though.
I
Good.
won't.
All right.
I got it out of my system.
Uh,
But will Mick not laugh?